This program is brought to you by Vincar, Peace of Mind. Vincar, for your peace of mind.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Heart to Heart Talk. As always, I have some very interesting guests with me, and tonight we have two architects extraordinaire. Yeah, I would like to welcome David and Manyin. Let's welcome those two guys, man. Hi. David, how are you?
Good.
Hi, Manyin. Yes, have a seat. How are you guys?
Good.
Yeah. How was the pandemic affecting you? Was it easy for you or you?
In this particular line is quite interesting
Yeah.
because we happen to do private homes.
I see. Okay.
So private homes is one of those that I think probably during pandemic, probably the closest to the heart. You spend a lot of time at home, and interestingly, a lot of people start to think, hey, maybe I can work from home.
Yeah.
Before you know it, they say, hey, maybe my office can be at home.
Yes. Maybe they stay in the
Right.
house too long. They say it's about It's about time I renovate my house.
So you will have this kind of decisions
Yeah.
being made.
So it didn't affect you so badly at all, I suppose. Yeah.
We are fortunate,
Fortunate,
because you have I think the pandemic shows a couple of things. Number one, that people and the families want to be closer together. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
I mean, it affects, in a sense, operation-wise.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you can't work in the office, you can't work with your team, you can't see them physically.
Yeah.
In terms of operation, yeah, it's a little bit more difficult.
It's difficult for brainstorming and all that.
Correct.
right?
You can't put a piece of
be
paper and
together,
then you
yeah.
can't sketch, and
Right.
you can't talk. So everything's
Yes.
on Zoom and virtual. But
Yeah.
it's, in terms of projects, I mean, like what David said, it's, we're kind of fortunate in a sense, because you got a lot of owners who now suddenly sit at home. You're forced to sit at home. They start looking at it, like, maybe I want to change this. Maybe it doesn't look right. This one maybe doesn't feel right.
So what do you call yourselves? Do you call yourself architects or do you call it?
Yeah, we are architects.
Yeah, architects.
We definitely architects. We are trained as architects.
What is the name of your company?
Our company is called Design Collective Architects.
Design Quality Architects. Yeah.
The reason why it's collective is because it started with myself.
Yeah, that is something I want to ask. How did you all get together? You know, did you all were you all enemies or were you competitors before?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Actually, we are both teachers.
Okay.
I used, of course, we both came from studying in Australia, and then come back to KL, and then after working in KL for a while, after working in Australia, working in KL.
You work in Australia also.
I work in Australia.
Did you, Mani?
No.
No, you didn't work in
Yeah, I
Australia. So
studied
you
in Australia.
studied in
Yeah.
Australia.
I worked in
Yeah,
Australia for
yeah.
a few years, then came back.
And then
A few years, 3 years later, 3 years later, decided to have a change of scenery. Decided to go into teaching.
yeah, what were you working as in Australia? Were you an architect then?
Yes, I'm an architect. Working in small houses as well, because in Australia, generally a lot of small houses.
Yes.
That kind of thing. So that's how I got that into it. Then later on, I went into teaching because I decided to change the scenery.
Teaching.
The reason why, because I
Teaching
felt
architecture.
teaching architecture.
Okay.
Because my old school lecturer would happen to be then the head of school of the Australian university called Curtin University, Western Australia.
Okay.
And also decided to have a twinning program here with the local college.
What is the local college?
At that time, it's called LICT, Lim Kok Wing Institute
okay.
of Technology.
Yeah.
So with that, I started teaching and then having a studio in the college.
Oh. So
That's how.
you work from the college in a way. You have
In
a
a way,
student in the
yeah,
college.
yeah.
That's how you met Manin.
That's
is
how
it?
he is my first batch student.
Oh,
And
you
he
are.
happened to be the top student. Just now you mentioned were we enemy?
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of. I think like any good students, or
Very, always arguing with the lecturer. is
very
it?
very good students will say, I think this teacher is not good enough.
I mean, if you ask any of our classmates or many of my classmates, the moment I present to him or whatever is on the studios, it's a 1 hour debate or a long argument kind of thing.
What are the debates usually about?
I mean,
in architecture?
designer. It's about designer.
It's about design. Why it
The
should be
problem with
like this?
architecture, just like anything that related to art, because architecture is in some sense is a practical art,
It's practical art, yeah.
right? So it's very subjective. And the problem is sometimes the teacher holds a lot of power because subjective. And parents, especially in this case, a private college, right? Parents does spend a lot of money on the children
Yes.
for their education. And therefore, the students also under pressure to make sure that they pass and then they move on.
Yes.
So therefore, the teacher tend to think the A. You know, whatever I say goes.
Yeah.
But-
they have a job to do, lah. They just got to move on. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, for very, very good students, see that, you know, I have my point of view.
Yes.
Right? The not so good students say, hey, teacher, whatever you say, I'll do it. So this is where I think, but having said that, Australian universities, I remember the moderator or the teachers that sometimes visit our school will say, hey, you have to really focus on the stars.
Yeah,
so he's one of
so he
them.
was one of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm so proud of you.
So,
So
yeah.
usually your class, how many people would there be inside there?
Their batch at that time is 40.
40 of
No,
them.
I
ah?
think we started with 20.
Started with 20.
Started with 20. Then there was
Oh,
a
then
second
they
group.
mixed up with
Then
another
they
class.
group up together because
Okay.
the first
They
batch was
started
20.
with 20.
So
because-
we were the guinea pigs. Literally,
Yeah.
I belonged to the initial startup pilot program.
Okay.
Where there was no real program, no real lecturers. They
So
all started
you got a
coming in.
degree or what is that you
It's a
have?
twinning program.
Twinning program.
So in other
yeah.
words, the degree comes from Curtin. So in other words, I actually I did 2 years here and then eventually 3 years in Curtin. But
Oh, in Australia.
in
you were
Australia. So
okay.
they issue me the degree.
Okay. So
Go
you
ahead.
met there.
Yeah, we met there. Actually, eventually, because I teach the second year.
Okay.
Second year is an important year because after that is the third year in
Yeah.
13. So the idea is that whatever marks they get here has to be same as the
Yes.
13 because when you go there, at least that it matches.
Right.
Right? So that's basically, so it started that 20 and then eventually it became 40. So when I did second year, but what happened, I think, is that for them, being the first batch, which in my memory after teaching there for 8 years or
Yes.
so, are still the best.
They are the
Partly
best.
because I think they wanted to do it. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people, when they want to go into a particular field,
Yeah.
I would say more than 50% is because the parents think that this is a good idea, you know, or the
Yeah.
parents are related in this field.
Yeah.
So I think like him, I think your parents are nothing to do with this particular
So you
profession.
met you taught Manin, and then later you pull him out to start a company, or what happened?
No, what happened is that after that, I think a few years down the road already, after
He
the-
was working somewhere else.
you were
I
working
suppose.
somewhere else,
Yeah.
and then we have projects together. I was also doing something else, so I need help.
Yeah.
And with another person, so three of us just got together, and then we started to do interior work. And the first one, if I'm not mistaken, is 2001. Is in Bangwan Utama, Häagen-Dazs.
Häagen-Dazs. Okay.
So eventually we do a series for them.
Okay. Okay.
in
So is it
Singapore.
identical or each one is different?
What they do, like Häagen-Dazs, they have a brand. And the brand, they have many different types. For example, it could be a store, could be a flagship,
Yes. Yes.
and could be in supermarket or whatever. So our job is to ensure that all these branding is consistent, but in different locations.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to adapt. Adapt
They have to
already,
adapt,
yeah.
yeah. They
The
give
co-
it
the
the
corporate,
book,
the corporate look and everything.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Yes. Okay. Very interesting. I'm sure my viewers are quite curious about what we have on this table.
Okay.
You would like to share what is
Yes.
this? What is this all about?
Okay.
Do you always do things like this before you start on any project?
Okay, this is our first job.
Yeah. Okay.
I think this model, I think we did this almost 20 years ago.
This model is 20
and
years ago.
it's actually 20-year-old model.
20-year-old model.
And we've kept it. I mean, some of the cards, you can see that the glue marks are still there, the balsa wood is still there. We did this, I think, in one afternoon.
I think so.
We did this in one afternoon.
Complete the whole thing in one afternoon.
This, yeah, of course,
Oh.
some of them fell apart. I think we had to glue it back over the
Okay,
years. But
okay.
I think what we did was we actually, of course, kept it properly. I think the reason is it is one of our it is our first job.
So this has sentimental value.
Oh, it's very
Very sentimental. In
Yeah.
fact, one of the only model that we have different materials from,
Yeah.
like say white cardboard, for
Okay.
example. This one actually also
There's a
reflect.
story behind it?
Yes, yes. This one also reflect what we feel as architects should do.
Okay.
We always feel that as an architect, for example, our job is actually to bring in the client or the owner perspective into this. And we are a firm believer that every time you do something like this, it's really not about us. People are not buying, let's say I use bag as an analogy, they're not buying a Louis Vuitton bag, but they're buying a custom-made bag. Exactly the kind of thing that you need.
Okay.
You know, how many pockets inside and so forth. So house is a little bit like that. So we tend to think what we try to do is bespoke, right? Very customized. And in this case, is actually to bring in a particular person point of view, how they want to live.
Okay.
In this particular case, we have this person at that time in the 40s and decided to bring extended family together, 3 families in fact, and we
How
have
big were the family? They're big family or?
okay. It's actually 9 adults and 2 teenagers at
Also,
the time.
you need to know all these details before you.
Yeah, the personalities. In this particular case, that she actually had a dream. In fact, a few days earlier, and then this dream or premonition, whatever the word is,
Okay.
that hey, you know, why don't you bring all the families together?
Okay.
So the families
It
decided.
started with a dream. Yeah.
Yeah, I started with a dream, and to make the dream happen. So
So it's like a longhouse in a way, a modern longhouse.
very much so. The dream is actually to bring all these families together.
Yeah.
Because what happened is that some members of the family not working. Some are doing very well.
I see.
So the idea behind this is that what happened if you bring all this together, and then somehow or other the well-off one can help to take care of the not so well-off one.
Pool the resources together.
Together,
Yeah.
that's right. And then
It's a family home in a way, Yeah.
it's actually a community family home.
Community
we actually
family
call
home,
it a
yeah.
community house,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And everything is equal. If you look at this model again,
Yes.
if you look at that, all the rooms are of equal size.
Of equal size.
The reason it's very interesting because the person who asks us, for example, probably make 5 times or 6 times more than, let's say, the poorest member
Okay.
of the family.
But they are of equal size.
They're all of equal sizes, and they all are given the equal resources. So that is the idea.
Yeah.
And we do get inspiration from the longhouse for the simple reasons of the equality.
So
that
how
we
many
like to
rooms are
propose.
there inside? Do you remember?
Yes, there are 7 rooms.
7 rooms.
Ah.
Attached bathrooms or all?
All of these are actually attached bathroom. They are actually shared if you look at it properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 rooms will share 1 bathroom.
Okay.
So this is something that we in a way, each of these is one house. It's their own house. And what was interesting about this also is that because what happened to this family, they actually bought a piece of land in an abandoned housing estate.
Oh, so we got it cheap in a way, I suppose.
Very cheap.
Very
we got
cheap
it.
land.
And then it's a 10,000 square feet land. So we decided to, half of it is the building, half of it is garden. Now, what was interesting about this is because once they got that, because the whole place, literally nobody lived there. When nobody lived there, what do you do?
Where is this area?
This is in Nilai. Actually, to
Nilai,
be exact,
oh.
it's called Pajam.
Pajam.
Right.
Oh.
It used to be called College Height, I think, by Country Height. So what is interesting about this is that security become an issue. When you're the only house
Yes.
among all the bungalow lots that is not built, right? And therefore, at first, because of budget constraint, we decided that maybe the ground floor actually all open. Don't have to have wall, don't have to have anything. At the same time, the table or the fridge can be just bolted it on the ground,
Okay.
on the floor. So I guess nobody want to carry your fridge away, you know. And then we just lock by 9 p.m. For example, you can lock upstairs, right? And then they can sit. We have actually benches outside their rooms.
Okay.
The idea behind this is they can chit chat and all that before they actually retire back to their room. So this is what the house is. And what was interesting about this group of people is that they are a group of artists and writers. So in the afternoon at about 5 o'clock, these are the steps. And the steps itself where they can sit on it and then they will recite poetry and all that. Their friends will come.
Interesting, yeah.
So this whole ground floor is actually very open. In fact, the house become a member of the family. Why? Because the house, I think, I remember the first 3 to 5 years, the house actually makes significant amount of money as a production location for a lot of advertisement.
Oh, so they did a lot of shoot there and all that.
There was a lot- there was a lot of
okay.
shoot. There was a
Because
lot
it's
of
very easy. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
there's a Yuan
So
Sang and a few
accessible,
others.
everything.
That's
Yeah,
right,
you got a lot of
that's right.
space to
Yeah,
play
it is
with.
very easy to move
Yes,
things
yes.
and all that. So because the idea of it is that it's fairly communal on the ground floor, and then it's
Yeah.
private rooms on top. In a way, it's 2 boxes, and because it's slightly on the slope, and the bottom here is basically where you put your cars.
Okay. So you can
and
drive
then the
inside
stores.
there.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
mm.
So,
Yeah. So how did you all work on this? You all fought,
Yeah.
fought over this or
we are fairly one
one
united.
one
That's why she
united,
said.
yeah.
That's
Because
why
you are,
she said.
you are his student, you got to listen
No,
sometimes.
no. Actually, we are very equal in.
You are
in
equal,
the way
good,
we,
yeah.
because in many ways, when we get it together, somebody will do the models, will do the drawings, and,
Yeah,
and we
okay.
get it very quickly. In this case, that afternoon when we, in fact, in the morning, this person talked to
So
us.
when in the morning, the
Then afternoon, we decided to very quickly create this model.
wow,
Right? We have a chat about it at lunch very quickly so that at night, she can bring this model to the family to have a meeting and then decided that's that. So the next morning when they came back, it's 100% like that.
That's why it's one of our interesting. It's our one of the earliest job and the most interesting one because we did this within a day.
yes.
It's like morning, model, afternoon, evening, present,
Yeah.
nighttime, approve. Next day we start drawing.
But how do this happen when you just do a model? What about the construction part? Do you think about construction during your conception of ideas?
We
and
thought
that?
a little bit about it. What is interesting about this also, you realize that this is balsa wood, this is timber, right?
Yeah.
Eventually the finished product, also timber.
Also timber. Wow.
So the top of it is also timber.
is it
and the rest,
expensive to do it timber or is it cheaper? Or not?
Well, timber are normally more expensive. Of
Yeah,
course, it comes
yeah.
back to what kind of timber you are putting in.
Yeah.
What was interesting about it, I think they liked the idea so much about this whole idea of community living. And later on, as our firm progressed, we have people come back to us and say, hey, you know, this is really suitable for a lot of single parents' home. You know,
Yeah,
whereby
yeah.
they need to put resources together,
Community, yeah.
that kind of thing, and then maybe they want to go somewhere and
do this something
do
like
this
this.
building like
yeah.
this. Yes. So we do have requests.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the building. That's what it is.
Yeah, great.
One of our
I would love to
earliest
visit it. It's still there, isn't it?
It's
I
still
suppose,
there, it's
yeah.
still there,
it's still
it's
there.
still
Is
there.
it well kept?
Relatively well kept. Yeah, relatively well kept.
So do you go and visit it once in a while? To just
In
have
the
a look?
early days, we have this habit that the moment we finish a building, we will have a party.
Oh, okay.
The reason why we do that is because we want to test the building. This building is a very good example because the contractor come from Podison. We are in Nilai, right? So we invited all the contractors. The idea for us is
Okay.
during the party, where the owner haven't moved in yet.
Okay.
But the owner can join us. We will switch on the aircon from
to
morning
try out
to night
everything,
to check out. And I remember by 8 o'clock or 7:30 or so, suddenly there's a blackout. Because the contractor was there, so he very, very urgently called out the electrician,
Okay.
and then the electrician got, eventually half an hour later, you know, with the motorcycle.
You're supposed to deliver the next day, is it?
No,
Or
no, no. The point
He
is
was
that
really there.
we are having parties
Party
and all
inside,
that, so
okay.
he has to come in and then fix it up. So that's the beautiful thing about testing it.
Okay.
So we have a party, we enjoy it,
Yeah.
but at the same time we are testing the building.
Okay.
So you know, a lot of people talking about defects, liability period and all that, take a few months. So this one night, we try to test
Okay,
everything. So
okay.
that's basically
Stress
what
test,
we do. Yeah. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, so this
Yeah.
is basically what it is.
Yeah.
It's a memorable piece. I mean, the thing is, it got us where we are.
Yeah.
I mean, this project was published quite a bit. Yeah, I think it was quite well known.
Okay.
So it kind of like started off who we are in
Yeah.
basically the
Yeah.
industry. People started to know us from this.
Yeah. You have something else there, is it?
Yeah, this is actually one of the later ones
You
that
want
we
to
just.
want to put it up here so that.
Oh yeah, sure.
Can you place it down there and maybe you
no
can
worries.
talk through what this thing is all about?
I think this model is one of those that's been spinning around the
Okay,
background.
okay.
Not this one.
One of the masterpieces at the back.
Not this one.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
another one.
Yeah.
I think this one is a very good example of, you really need to know how to design on site and find all the little, all the advantages of the site.
Okay.
This one was actually an old house. This was on, there was an old house there. I think the owner came to us one weekend or something like that. We went and visited the house. It was a very old abandoned house. He was about to buy it. He hasn't bought it. He was about to buy it, and it's one
Where
of those.
was the house?
It's in Bangsa.
In Bangsa.
It's in Bangsa, but it's one of those old developer houses where every house is the same.
Okay.
And when you know how developers, when you do it back then, it's all the houses are the same and they just look at each other. Look
But
at
it's
the road.
a bungalow. Is
It's a
it?
bungalow, lah.
Yeah.
But they don't take into context of what you see there or what's the view. Or they just basically build, multiply that, photostat.
Okay.
So when you went to the house was actually looking on the neighbor's house opposite. It doesn't have any view whatsoever.
So the neighbors is his view.
Yeah, imagine that. And then the
Yeah.
owner was like looking at it. We went down. I went around. It's like, look at this. Like, hey, this should have a nice view because I recognize this road. I know I had some friends living on the same road last
Yeah.
time, so I know that it should have a view in KL. It should have a panoramic view. So looked around. The living room looks at his neighbor. Went down to the swimming pool. Looked at the neighbor. So it doesn't have anything
Yeah.
until when I climbed up to the second floor, small bathroom toilet. I peeped out a little window.
Okay.
I looked and said, hey, shit, nice view Took my handphone out, stuck my hand out and started
And
taking
snap
a
a picture,
picture.
yeah.
It's like, wow! And what it had all the tallest buildings in KL.
Oh.
Every single building you can name.
KLCC and everything.
KLCC is there, 118 is there, the Twin Towers are there.
What a view. From where? So where was that?
It was somewhere here. And so right now what we did was we
Okay,
take
okay.
the advantage.
Which
So
is the back of the house.
Oh, this is the back of the house.
yeah, imagine this view looks at the whole of KL. I mean, if you can see the background now that's
Yeah,
flying
yeah,
through, that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
house.
This is the one.
So this view actually has a panoramic view of KL,
I see.
right? But the old house was looking at you.
Ah.
So you were looking at your neighbor,
So this
which
was wall, I suppose.
is kind of like a side of the house. And so it's
okay,
kind of
okay.
very not an advantage.
But
meaning-
the house this side was
no,
not
the
wa-
house drops.
Oh, it drops.
That's why
Very
you get.
lucky. He's
That's
so
that's
lucky,
why it's a
yeah.
very nice piece of land. But nobody bought it because nobody saw it.
Saw the
advantage,
potential of it,
potential of
yeah.
it. You know, when you go in there, you just look at your old house. It's like, okay lah, nothing. But once you see the view, and that's where that basically
Yeah.
started the whole design.
So I think this is a good example whereby when we bring the value of the site, which originally may be being covered,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
value of the site. And suddenly I would imagine that the new owner comes, for example, because he already know the potential, therefore it will probably have a different value
Yeah.
altogether. And I think now I think the owner there about 2 years or so already. And every time the owner come back, the owner will always look at it and say, wow. and that I think better than any decorative items
Yeah.
because of the view. And it has given this bloated vision or this enhanced vision that of course our skyline always changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So from here you can see the whole of KL.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
so
Literally,
this
that's
is-
where the
so
living room is.
This is the living room.
So the whole
So
entertainment area.
even the bottom here you can see KL.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's got the infinity pool.
I thought you can only see it from here.
No,
you can see
because
from
it drops so much.
Yeah,
that
Oh.
because of the hill.
I see, but it was not discovered.
it was not discovered.
Actually, the reason why this person, the owner, actually Italian. He actually is a project manager.
Okay.
He also been looking around to check who can do. We happen to be when we started our career. Just now you were talking about career.
Yeah.
We by accident after this particular project we end up having a lot of projects on the hill. So we become a hill expert
Okay.
or slope house expert. And one of the beautiful thing about slope houses is that generally you have view because
Yes.
there is unblocked.
Yeah, I'm broke. Yeah.
Yeah. So from that point of view, somebody say, "Hey, what you guys are good at?" We used to say that what we're good at is view. So we will try to enhance it or open it up.
Okay.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
In this case, you're looking at more than 180 degrees.
Wow.
You know.
I
that
mean,
kind
it's
of
bent. It's bent this way, so that you're looking at from that all the way as a sweeping view.
thing. So it's like 270.
It's more than 180
So
degrees.
the price of the house must have gone up like.
I mean, the thing is that he's not selling it.
Is that selling?
It's not selling. And of course, originally it came to us, apart from having a wow kind of house, is actually a very party house because they like to entertain and
Yes.
therefore, you know.
So it would be
have
so
people,
nice. They can have wine
running
there.
around.
you
Oh,
know,
yes.
Night
Yes.
view, so nice. Yes.
Night morning view,
Yes,
yes.
and he literally you get the the New Year's Eve firecrackers and everything. It's amazing.
Okay. I think we're going to take a break now because I think it's about 9. Yeah. So we take a break and we come back and we discuss more.
Okay.
Okay. See you guys.
Yeah.
See you in a little while.
Yeah.
Meet a company who gets what your event marketing needs. We are Annocent. Any event, any purpose, our team knows everything you need for a smashing success. We always have a plan made just for you. And when it's crunch time, we walk the talk and make it happen. And on event day, the results speak for themselves. All the event solutions you could need, all in one company. We should know, we've been at it for over 10 years. Starting with music and growing to master events of all kinds. Put the event of your dreams in our hands and watch the magic happen when we bring it to life so that it looks and sounds like a dream come true. Events, commercials, we do it all and make it brilliant. We are Annocent. We get events and we get you.
Winca, for your peace of mind.
Sorry. Hi, welcome back. I have my guests here with me today, Manin and David, and we are just having a very interesting chat on architecture. And David and Manin, I always wanted to be an architect, but I just didn't end up being one. I don't know how I end up in advertising. I'm sure there are a lot of young people who are interested in being an architect. Do you have any point of view, or is there any tips that you can give such a person? Can anyone be an architect, or you must have some flair in something?
Maybe I start.
You start
the
first,
ball
David.
rolling.
Yeah.
I think from standard 2, where they have art class, when I was in primary standard 2, to standard 6, all my art subject I got an F.
You got an F? Oh my goodness! I thought you were going to say A.
So from that point of view, it proved that as you get older, maybe I've improved, but nevertheless, I do not think I've improved that much. What is also proof that I think the subject of architecture, when you want to be a professional architect, for example, you don't necessarily be a fantastic person who can draw.
Okay.
The reason why is because there are also a lot of science involved. I was a science student.
Oh, you were a science student.
I was
yes,
a science student, and I got into engineering, and somehow rather than switch to architecture when I was in Australia, in Melbourne.
Okay.
Partly because
So is science very important in architecture also, in a way?
it's an important part
Yeah.
because you have to know what you call
Whether the building going to stand or
building
not.
technology, structural side of it.
Yeah.
You have to know that. And then we have what we call architectural science,
Okay.
which means that the solar energy and how the sun orientation and all these, basically a lot of things that make the building comfortable to live in.
Okay.
You have services, you have, for example, your pipes, your sewerage pipes,
Yeah.
you have all these things that we have to know.
Also, you have to think a lot. It's
you have to have
just not design.
plumbing, you have the water supply.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then at the same time, different countries, like in Australia, for example, winter sun is really important.
Yes.
So when winter sun is important, you got to know that the house allows for a lot of winter sun. At the same time, summer.
To save energy in a way, is it?
Well, you want
The
the
heat,
you want
yeah,
heat.
yeah.
You want free heat.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's safe.
And then at the same time, during summer, it's very hot. They have two extreme.
Yes.
So then you need it to be shaded. So these are what we call architectural science. Yes. So people who have interest in this particular profession have to know this.
Yeah. So like Malaysia, a lot of people don't like the house in a way facing the afternoon sun or whatever. Towards it becomes very hot towards the evening and all that. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
That's the reason why a lot of people. The problem with Malaysia, I think, is that a lot of our housing are actually not necessarily done by the individual who live there. They're done by developer,
Yeah.
right? Or done by government.
Yeah.
So a lot of time, sometimes during planning, especially, I think there's a big number of us live in terrace house, for example.
Yes.
And when you live in terrace house, they will just do the most efficient layout.
Yes.
And there are a lot of houses facing west. So what do you do?
Yeah.
I always suggest that if you don't mind, spend a little bit of money, you make another wall over the existing wall, for example.
Okay.
So in Australia, we have what you call double cavity wall.
Okay.
So there's a gap in the middle. So by doing that, when the sun hit the outer wall, the middle one become a
I
buffer.
see.
The air become
okay.
the gap become a buffer. And
Is
that,
it common in Malaysia to do that?
interestingly, is not common.
It's not common, yeah.
But it makes sense to do.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense to do. This is what I'm trying to say is that by actually studying a profession like this, there's a difference between, let's say, you just get somebody, a contractor, just to build it.
Yeah.
But an architect will suggest this to you, and then, maybe you can add this, add that, rather than you have all sorts of decorative thing to the house.
Yeah. So you must detail in your thinking, I suppose.
I mean, you have to understand the conditions of the site. I mean, you're right. I mean, the afternoon sun is hot.
Yeah.
So you have to design it. I mean, this like I said, I come back to this again. This was designed, we know that there's a view. It was also designed, fortunately for him, it's also east facing, not west facing. So you get a lot of morning sun.
Morning sun.
Which is,
yeah,
a lot of people love it.
Yeah,
A
we
lot of people
it.
love it.
I love it.
So
yeah.
what happens then, we actually design in such a way that then when the sun goes in the afternoon,
Yeah.
the whole swimming pool gets shaded. The whole living room is shaded. You
Okay.
literally use the whole space without aircon. It's
Yeah.
so cooling.
So we are saying that I suppose you must be very observant to be a.
Analysis is important.
Analysis,
analysis is
observant.
important because
But
when
art, like you say, is not so important.
It's a balance.
art, no,
It's a balance.
art is to make it.
It's an
beautiful.
advantage,
It's an advantage. You make
yeah.
it beautiful. Analysis is important because when you, in fact, a design in general is about solving a problem.
Yes.
In this case, when you have a site whereby it's very slopey, you want to solve a problem, right? You want to solve a problem of living. At the same time, you want a building that with the least energy to use it. To live in here, you're going to want to use the least energy. So those are our problems.
Okay.
At the same time, you want to maximize whatever quality the site is. Why? Because all of us, even though some of us will probably die in the house we built, but our children probably sell it.
Yes.
Okay, so you will hope that your children get good value for it.
Yes, yes.
So therefore, hopefully they buy the house, not the land only, but the house and the land.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
that's what we try to do. Yeah.
So what about you, Manin? Do you have any tips for people who wants to be an architect? Do you?
Tips.
Yeah. Or what do you think that
I mean,
should look?
the thing is that
Yeah.
I think
Do you plan to be an architect in the first place?
I think I'm like the stereotypical growing up, end up being an architect kind of
End
guy.
up being.
I mean, a lot of people will say
were you doing anything else before?
that, first of all, it was I grew up with Lego,
Lego.
and
yeah.
I don't like following the rules. I'll build my
Okay.
own thing.
Oh,
I'll
build
get
your
it,
own Lego.
build it, and then do my own stuff and start building it. And then I'm also the kind of guy that I don't know whether you remember those old sofas in the houses where it's all made of bamboo and then they got these cushions.
Ah, yes,
right?
yes.
Wow, when my parents are around, I'll take it out, build something out of those cushions. It's that kind of mentality that
Yeah.
I want to build something. And then it's also, the thing is that my father is also a handyman. So the thing is, I've done a lot of carpentry work and I like to build things. I like to make things.
So you've been a builder all the while.
It's that kind of thing. I mean, I make things in the sense that, so if for some fortunate reason, I just fell into architecture. And it's quite nice that I get to build bigger things now.
I think one of the big part of it is curiosity.
Curiosity. Yeah.
You must have curiosity, and then the heart of explorer. You want to explore.
Yes.
Most of us like to travel. Sometimes it's better than you go to universities.
Yes.
A lot
To
of
open your eyes. Yeah.
a lot of top architects in the world actually probably travel for a few years before they start to
Just to
practice.
absorb some ideas.
They see a lot of ancient buildings and new buildings and so forth. I think that's a very important part of it, curiosity. And the other thing also very, very important is that the idea that you like making things. We spend a lot of time doing models.
Yes.
The reason for that is sometimes not to model, sometimes it's not too much to our client, but it's actually allow us to think. You allow us to see is our judgment of composition, of proportion, and so forth. And the good thing about model, when you do it by hand, it slows you down.
Yeah.
Then you have more time thinking.
Yes.
Of course, the computer nowadays with the computer graphics is very fast, but sometimes it doesn't allow thinking.
I mean, this one allows you to put your face in there,
Yeah.
stick your head there, you actually imagine yourself standing there. It's different from VR or whatever.
Yeah.
It's-
So do you still do things
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this?
yeah.
Yes, still
In
do.
fact, sometimes we do a few of these. I tell you why.
Uh.
You'll be surprised. Quite a few people, even in our profession, first we do it originally is for ourselves, then it's for our clients so that they can go home and have torchlight,
Yeah,
run
yeah,
through
yeah.
it and all that, right? The next few days when they bring back, they say, "Hey, sorry, my cat eat it or half or whatever." Actually, it's themselves
Yeah, fiddling with it.
fiddling with it. At the same time, we also show to our engineers and all that. You'll be surprised that you'll be surprised at how many people sometimes do not know how to read plans.
So yeah.
So it's
then
really, really important.
it's easy for them to visualize once there's
Yeah.
something like this.
Because we,
This is a working model. In other words, it's not a nice model, we call it. It's a working model.
It's a working model.
We take things apart. Meaning you say this isn't right, we pull it apart.
Yeah.
Then we start gluing new things. That's why if you look at it, it's not clean. It's dirty.
we started this is because many years back, I think now our firm is probably about 19 years, next year is 20 years, is that at that time, not many people do bungalows because everybody wanted to do high-rise, township and all that. So the reason why is because bungalow owners, one of the key person in making decision when they build a house is actually the lady of the house. Right? And a lot of them, they have one instruction they always tell us, or one principle is that I know what I want until I see it.
Okay.
So therefore, a traditional 3D model like this is probably the best, so they can feel it. You know, sometimes we even put figurine there.
Oh yes.
You know, you can check out the scale and so forth. So this is very important.
We still do it. I mean, with 3D model,
I
we
think
still
the other
do.
thing that I feel is very important is you must be a good listener, isn't it? Because you
Yes.
take brief
Yes.
from your clients. Yes.
Yes.
We have a lot of dialogue.
Yes.
I don't know whether I have time to tell you a short story.
Sure.
Actually, that actually also started our direction of how we want to do our practice. Many years ago, when I first graduated,
Yes.
worked in a firm. One day, one guy came to us and said, you know, you're designing a house for me, but I have one request. The one request is, before I sleep, I want to look at the star. This is in Australia, in Perth. So later on, he told me the story why he wanted to do that. Because all the while, his parents, or his father actually running a very good so-called textile business. Somehow or other, he was never interested in that business.
in that
And the
business,
father always wanted him to pull him to continue the tradition. So at one day when he was 15, 16 years old, the father said, hey, let's go to camping. So that night, he never had a very strong bond with the father.
Okay.
They never talked to each other. So that night, somehow or other, with half of their body inside the camp, inside the tent, and then the other half looking at the
Look at
stars,
the stars. Yes.
they talk until morning.
Morning.
Right? Few months later, the father heart attack passed away. Right? And his father was telling him at that time was how he built up the business, the history and all that. So later on he quit his school and decided to carry on. So he says that because when he first started, the factory was in trouble and all that. So he cannot afford, he just lived in an apartment. And every time he had problems, he always run out from his apartment, look at the sky.
Okay.
It's almost like, Father, can you help me out?
Yeah.
So now he make it when he came to us, obviously, he was successful.
Yeah.
And he says that, now I want to look at this and talk to my father in the comfort of
You
my
want
bed.
to look at the stars when he's sleeping or before he sleeps?
Oh, no, this is like, he
While
couldn't
sleeping.
sleep.
He couldn't sleep.
couldn't sleep. He
He
get
needs
out
to
of the
come out,
house.
he need to look at the
says that-
stars. Okay.
He said, so in this case, when he's successful, he's not really asking for his father's help,
Yeah.
but just remind him of the conversation
Okay.
he had his father. But what I'm trying to say is that give us and give me anyway awakening
Okay.
that house is just more than function.
Yeah.
It's really about sometimes about memories,
Yes.
about a perspective of life. In his case, for him, it's a machine that how he remembers his father.
Very interesting. So you build the house in a way that he has a good
he has
view.
well, basically, in his bedroom, he has he has an automatic sky window.
Also, you can open that window.
That's right. So that is something that he relate back. So in that sense, the house gives meaning to him.
Okay.
So I think if you ask me about profession, about young and all that, this one I guess is more than just giving somebody kitchen or bedrooms and so
Yeah.
forth. You give somebody something that they can hold.
Yes.
and something that they can grow with. I think that's I think is probably make us feel that
Yeah.
hey, this profession is worthwhile
Yeah.
getting into. Yeah.
So you also like from what I hear, you also have to be a good storyteller to be an architect because you do a lot of presentation. Because a lot of times, so young people, I'm supposed they have to be good presenters.
You
if they're
have to
architect,
be you have to be good at
expressing
conveying,
yourself.
correct, expressing and conveying whatever you have
Yeah.
in your head. Because
Okay.
the thing is, all these are not built. When you're actually drawing it, when you're designing it,
Yeah.
it's not built.
Yes.
So it's how you convey your feeling of, you have ideas in your head, you draw it, you design it, and how do you convey that to you? I mean, the thing is, you're sitting down, enjoying a cup of coffee, looking at the view.
Yeah.
In your mind, it's like, wow, damn nice, eh?
Yeah.
How do I make you feel the same feeling? So I have to kind of like start to do a lot of things, maybe models, drawings,
Yeah.
talk to you, present
Yeah.
to you, tell you the experiences that we envisage that
Yeah.
you will get. So it is a lot of talking.
I can imagine that when you present, you don't straight away bring this house out. You will talk something first, then only
Actually, a lot of time is the other way around.
The other way around,
We,
you
we
bring
want to listen to them.
Yeah, of course, you listen to them.
We want to
yeah.
listen to them, and a lot of time when you listen, the good thing about us, we spend a lot of time in dialogue. The idea behind it, in fact, we have something like 80 questions. We started with 40 questions. We call it like something like health diagnosis. In this case,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
health,
yeah.
but to ask you what you want in a
Yes.
house. So now we built up to 80 questions. The reason why is the other 40 added by our clients.
Okay.
And the house owner say, hey, how come you didn't ask that? How come you didn't ask this?
Okay.
You know? So,
So they must answer the question first.
in the
before you-
beginning, it's a
yeah,
very
yeah, of
subjective
course,
one. Like
yeah.
what is what is the most important thing in your life?
Yes.
For example,
Yes.
to very very specific whether you need central vacuuming, for
Yeah.
example. So.
So there's a lot of things to think about. It's just not
for
looking
the-
beautiful and all that. Yeah.
Very importantly, because I think the key thing is that this is the house that they built for themselves. All the needs and all that.
Very
we're gonna put
personal,
in,
yeah.
Because
So-
it comes back to whatever he said just now in the beginning. We're not giving you a branded bag.
Yeah. It's
We're
customized.
customized, yeah.
Yeah.
We're measuring your
Yeah.
body. We need to know how long your hand is.
Yeah.
So all this is through dialogue. We don't design immediately. The moment a client comes to us, we don't immediately just, this is your house.
Yeah.
We'll talk and talk for many weeks
Yeah.
to a point that we kind of like know exactly what you want. We kind of develop that brief with them. So we talk, and say, oh, this is what you want, this is what, then we start, is this really what you want? Is
Yeah.
this what, until to a point that, okay, we're very certain of you know what you want, I know what you want, and kind of thing. Then only we start designing.
Okay.
Because otherwise, we're shooting in the dark,
Right.
because we don't even
Of
know what
course.
the target is.
Yes.
Of course, the reality also is that you can't really make decision without financial constraint,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So we will put that together to know that what you can have and what you can't have,
Okay.
and then you have a choice. Sometimes you want 10 items, but maybe you can afford 6 items.
Yeah.
So what do
Okay.
you do? Things like
Yeah.
that.
So
So
you
a
gotta
lot
be
of time is a
accountant too,
discussion, and a lot of them actually become our lifelong friend.
Oh, okay.
And then we have cases whereby the house we built for this family with three boys, I think. And then what happened is that now the eldest one got married, and we have kind of, when we designed it, we envisaged that. So we built another building next to this building, like an apartment, can go has separate entrance, but it also come from this particular person bedroom.
Okay.
So it's an extension to his bedroom.
Yeah.
Because he just got married. for
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
So this is something that we are very proud of,
Okay.
whereby we're able to design the next generation for them. Yeah.
I think we're fortunate because, like I said, next year is our 20th. So in other words, we've actually gone through 20 years of building houses for these
Yeah.
people. And 20 years, there's a lot of houses and a lot of their families have grown up. Our early clients have already kids who are married now with their own kids. So
Okay.
a lot of like this second generation are coming back. And whether we are renovating the places that we've done for them for their new functions or new needs, or we're building a new house for them.
Yeah.
So
great.
it's a nice
Yeah.
thing to see everybody grow. It's fortunate.
So are you guys still lecturing nowadays?
He is.
I am.
You are.
He is.
You are not anymore.
I kind of retired.
Retired from lecturing. So
From
you,
teaching.
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm teaching.
From
I've,
teaching,
well, it's different from then. Last time we have 20, 30 students.
Yeah.
The batches are now like 100 students, 100 something students. And
So many students.
yeah, and of course I don't teach all 100.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I think each of us are probably assigned to about 10 amongst
Yeah.
ourselves. So we take care of about 10 of them.
So for to be an architect, what type of courses are there? You know, is there drawing courses? Is there what?
Everything.
Everything. So calculation, accountancy, everything. No.
Architect by nature is a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
That all trades. So you have.
So you become almost like coordinator of most of the things that need to make a building. For example, you can understand a bit of engineering,
Yeah.
structural and civil engineering. Civil means how the land,
Yes.
the earth, and all that.
Yeah.
Earthwork, of course. Structural means the structure that make the building stand, and then you need understand a little bit of services like M&E. M&E is mechanical and electrical. You don't have to be detailed because they are the specialists there, but you need to know how to communicate with
Yeah.
them. You need to understand and all this. Of course, then the other thing called QS, quantity surveyor,
Yes.
which you need to understand.
Wow.
So we are very much to become almost like the coordinators. In building like this, we become the project manager.
So even the interior, are you involved in the interior?
Yes, we have
interior
a-
design also. Yeah.
We have an interior department.
Oh, you have an interior department.
Uh,
inside.
in fact, a lot of owners now they want to have two bags, and they have two bags and then move in because they will probably sell their house lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah.
Right? So we, in fact, when we do
Just
interior, for example, we
everything
even
ready
do-
for them to move in.
we even talk to them about bed sheet, for example. Yeah.
So detailed.
Yeah.
It's color matching. You have to match the colors.
Yeah. We are almost coming to the end of
Okay.
the show, but I just want to ask you, what are your dreams or vision or what you want to be? I mean, you are quite successful in a way, you're doing well, but is there some dreams or something that you want to achieve before you are 60 or something like that?
Actually, a lot of these we also have organizations. Like now, we started something called Doma Initiative, which is basically organization whereby we bring together younger designers.
So you do that. huh?
we
That's
started
good.
we started a non-profit foundation.
That's good.
Basically to promote the next generation in the sense. So we're getting.
So
we-
who attend this sort of thing? Or how do-
Because in our profession, there are people who are not registered in our architect boards.
Okay.
So because they call themselves designers, so we want. So sometimes this particular community may not have a place to communicate with one another or gather together. So organization like us help them.
Yeah.
A lot of them they are very good designers. They work with various people.
Yeah.
They work with architects. They work with interior designers. A lot of them they are smaller practice, but they're very creative. So what we try to do is try to bring all these people together.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also invite overseas architects.
Okay.
Have conferences and talk to them and so forth. So for us is to create a community whereby the younger ones can grow.
Yeah. So how often do you meet up, or is there any events that you do?
We have what we call breakfast club monthly. Of course,
monthly, yeah.
During pandemic, unfortunately, we stopped for a while.
Yes.
We do it through Zoom nowadays. But before that, we have it in a restaurant.
Yeah, it's very good of you all to give back to society, to bring them.
We bring people in
Yeah.
from various professions sometimes. People who are into sustainable
Yeah.
farming and all that kind of thing. And at the same time, we also once a year we hold a very big conference whereby we bring overseas architects over,
Okay.
so that because Malaysia is not necessarily the favorite destination for all these very famous overseas architects.
Yes,
So we
yeah.
try to bring them in, and so that everybody can actually experience
Yeah.
what they do. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And what about you, Manin? You have some vision that you want to achieve?
I think the
You already achieved what you want to do already.
No, I
is
mean
it?
the thing is architecture itself is okay. That's one side of the career, which is the work part,
Yeah.
which is kind of fun in the sense we're kind of enjoying it. The initiative is also, I think it is our next line or next development line. And
I think you also hire a lot of people in your company, isn't it?
We do.
You have a big group of people.
We have, as a group, we have about 60. Yeah.
60 people, you're hiring a lot of people.
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We also take in a lot of interns and
that's
students,
good.
students and stuff.
In fact, because we're both involved in education,
that's
so the whole practice works like a studio. So we have a lot of students come to us. Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said just now, also operation is a little bit tricky at the moment because of the pandemic. You know, you can't have too many interns in the office.
Yeah.
You can't have too many people. So it's kind of a hiccup at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think from next year onwards, probably it will go back to full swing.
Yeah,
and I
that
think
would be great.
I mean, at any one point, I think we used to have like 12 or 14 interns in the office running
14
around.
interns,
A lot.
yeah.
We're just all over the place. And to a point that we don't know where to sit them.
Yeah.
We have no more corners in the office for them to
Yeah.
be around, and we have to kind of like have them in the meeting rooms and stuff like that. So it gets a bit too crowded.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we try and have. I mean, it's always nice to have fresh blood. I mean, you're in the industry,
yes.
creative industry. You always they see things, they look at things differently, and we look at things differently.
But it's just great that both of you are giving back to society, you're still lecturing, you're doing all this for these young people. It's just great. And I think that's all the time we have for today. I think I had a great time chatting with you all.
Thank you very
And thank
much.
you so much for appearing on my show.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much
all the best,
for-
man.
for-
Yeah, all
for
the best to
inviting
you.
us.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then good night and hope to see you guys again. Okay, bye bye.
Okay, thank you very
that's
much.
about 1 hour.
I
Great.
hope.
Thank you.
This program was brought to you by Vinca Peace of Mind. Vinca, for your peace of mind.
Hi, my name is Alan. I've been in the ad industry for the past 40 years, but today I think I have finally found my first love, a virtual live streaming platform. We have often been asked, how far can you take virtual live streaming? My answer would be as far as your imagination can take you. With today's technology, we are able to do things we couldn't yesterday. Let my production team demonstrate to you what can be done. Take it, Uncle.
Okay, thank you, boss. At the current situation of pandemic, online training is a go. Of course, we can have a fancy thing like this. And like this. Oh, slow. And like this. Whatever you can imagine. And we can do it any way you want. Okay, wait. Hello, Habibi? Yeah. No, I'm working, I'm in the studio. Wait, someone is coming. I got to go, okay.
Can I move now?
Wait. Okay, you can come up. Okay, wait. You continue. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, I'm Shelley. I'm hands-on in the events industry for the past 15 years. Let me make use of this technology to make your dream launch, events, or a show a reality. We own a multi-purpose hall big enough for a car to be driven in. Making the best of a physical space and virtual streaming to bring you to the next level. To me, everything has a solution, no matter how complicated the situation is.
The music industry has changed in the past few months. The new normal has caused so much hardship But don't worry, the new technology that we have developed can solve a lot of this problem. The solution, do it with virtual live streaming.
Reno, is there anything else a singer can do?
Yes, of course.
Internet no good? Okay, I go offline.
I have my own live streaming, catering for customers to shop online while being entertained. You are always welcome to watch my live streaming channel, The Shopping Station, 购物火车站.
Give us a call and let's have coffee and talk.